Hey guys, have you ever watched like a big fat person eat something? Like the most disgusting person you've ever seen. In fact, like one of the people that would actually repulse you if you saw them in public and thought, that's the guy I want to listen to when it comes to politics. Now, it reminds me of this guy that was on GB News and he was flying the flag, the English flag, in front of Narinder Kaur, another English hater. And that guy was the new face of British politics when it came to GB News because he flew a flag and he went around eating stuff. Is this what it's come to? Our political figures now are just big fat, I was going to swear, just big fat people that go around eating things and commentating on the state of the country, except they've got their side now, a big fat guy that's bald and is supposed to represent the English because that's what the elitists, the people in our country that are in charge, that's what they think of us. So how better to represent us than recruiting one of them? Let's listen to this.
Gather round, patriots, and allow me to entertain you with a tale of Big John. If you don't know who Big John is, I mean, this video about sums it up. Big John is famous for being a big fat man. He's basically the guy from the opening scene of Seven, and this glutton in particular.
A slovenly glutton that can't control himself. Look at his face. Do you think that guy has an IQ at all? Do you think he has any kind of conceptual thoughts when it comes to the intellectual thought that is, let's say, going to revitalize this country? I'm looking at him and he looks like a bowling pin, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he might be that guy.
Killer goes around to various Chinese and Indian restaurants and reviews their food for Instagram and Twitter. And it's on Twitter where he's met his match, the online right. Because if you look at a Big John, you'd think that he is the North FC meme come to life. He looks like Baz, and you'd think he would say, "Love me missus, love me country, ate me immigrants, simple as." Instead, Big John is being astroturfed by pretty much every establishment media apparatus in Britain to act as containment for the growing dispossessed white working class outrage about Britain's sclerotic political system and the repeated betrayals that its politicians have inflicted upon its people when they voted in every election since 1974 for less migration and received record numbers of third world foreign dependents instead.
Do you think Big John's going to bring this up, especially as articulately as Little O'Connor?
And Big John's argument, and I am not trying to be reductive here, but it really does boil down to this, is, well, you're opposed to immigration, but have you thought about the food? As Rowan Atkinson once joked, I think we have the recipe. Now, Big John has made it a big show of going around to different Chinese takeaways, particularly while the flag protests, the Operation Raise the Colours, has been going on. He's appeared to be sort of propelled to stardom around that time. It's quite suspicious, really. And notice that he keeps going to specifically Chinese takeaways. He's been to a few Indians as well, but Chinese takeaways to combat anti-immigration sentiment. Now,
I want to preface this before Connor continues, okay? I know you guys don't like me stopping it too much, but I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Listen, right? Do you think it's a coincidence that Big John is suddenly everywhere, and especially, curating Chinese restaurants? Do you think Big John speaks for you guys? Do you think Big John represents you? Do you think it's a coincidence that he suddenly came out when heightened tensions arose in this country? I don't want to be too salacious because YouTube bans me or shadow bans every single video when I swear or when I do even something slightly controversial. And I would say that's fine, but I don't. I think that's actually awful. It's one of the worst things we've got to combat. I think if YouTube weren't so Middle Eastern, we'd have solved the grooming crisis a long time ago.
We'll raise one thing here. Not all immigrants are equal. If we look at the breakdown of data from Denmark and the Netherlands, your average Western European and Anglosphere, so Australian, English, British, American, Canadian, New Zealander, all heritage of those places, of course, immigrants are net tax contributors across their lifetime. They commit very little crime, and they usually integrate because of the language and because of common law and a unspoken sense of decency. They usually operate very well in those civilizations. That does
Okay, I don't think Connor's going to mention this, but there might be another reason why he's frequenting Chinese restaurants. Maybe the Chinese embassy, the super embassy that's being built in London, might have a clue. You might have a clue with that, sorry. Maybe the fact that the Chinese have been proven to have been spying on us for years and years and years might have a clue to this. Maybe the fact that the Chinese are openly hostile to the United Kingdom and still have a vendetta against us for making them the sick men of Europe. Actually, they were already the sick men of Europe, and that's why we did what we did. So maybe we're the sick men of Europe right now. Oh, sorry, sick men of Asia. Did I say that wrong? Apologies. But maybe we're the sick men of Asia now, and they think it's about time that they repay the favour. Connor's going to make the point about Islam. But let's not forget the Chinese influence as well.
Doesn't mean that if I were to move to Japan, for example, that I would be Japanese, nor would my culture and my instincts and my faith recreate the nation of Japan any more than a million Japanese people moving to Britain would be able to recreate Britain as it historically stood. But it does mean that when, for example, we take in 100,000 Hong Kongers, aside from one particular vocal leftist who decided to rather ungratefully accuse Britain of the crimes of colonialism and oppression, the Hong Kongers haven't really caused any problems. And so if you
And also, I would add to that the crimes of colonialism doesn't involve taking in refugees. They're silent on that. The crimes of colonial shit, I can't be asked. I'm so tired of this, guys. It's so boring. This whole argument is engaging them on good faith, and they don't engage us on good faith. They'll just change the goalposts and they'll move to something else, and they'll pivot and they'll call us racist for something else. But sure, let's keep going with this fucking narrative where we've got to justify ourselves. I'm at the extreme end of this. I think I'm way more right than the Lotus Eaters, Connor Tomlinson. In fact, I met some people on X, and they're definitely more right than me. But that's the future. If you keep ignoring me and people like me and people like Connor, you're going to get to the way more extreme. And those people, they're not going to stop at just deportation. In fact, they won't even deport them, if you know what I mean. So I think the government, if they had any sense, which they probably don't, would recognise that we are actually the moderate right. Calling for deportations is not extreme. It's what a country should do to save itself. But you ignore that, and it's going to get very messy, very quick. And Big John's just going to fucking eat something. That's all he's going to do.
You notice, whenever people talk about mass immigration, yes, it's about numbers, yes, it's about economics, and yes, it's about culture, but people don't really complain about the Chinese very much. Now, bringing in Chinese nationals brings its whole suite of its own problems. I mean, look at how universities have become unduly reliant on lots of student finance from Chinese students that academics themselves say that they can't feel possible to fail in their degrees despite them barely turning up to class, turning in shoddy coursework and exams and barely speaking English because the universities are so reliant on the funding. Look at the fact that the CCP has established Confucius Institutes all over universities to try and censor campus debates or set up its own private police stations.
Why does everyone else look super white on their videos, but I look normal? Is this normal, or does everyone else look like that? I'm confused. Am I like the black belt barrister looks the same as Connor right now? Is this just the camera or something? Is it adding like 10 shades of brown or something to my face? What's going on? Anyway, point is, I'm kind of shocked that he's continuing with the line of China. I honestly thought he was going to pivot to Islam or something, but let's go. I haven't seen this video, as you can tell.
In various Chinatowns across Canada and the US and the UK. And of course, there's this massive Chinese spying scandal that's currently playing out in the Labour Party. By the by, other than these considerations, when people complain about migration to the UK, they're usually talking about the Middle East, Pakistan, India, and Africa. Because they are the most culturally disruptive, economically costly, and politically consequential aggrieved minority groups that have been brought into this country against the wishes of the natives. So it's very funny that Big John and whoever wants to push him to the fore of British political debate is focusing so heavily on Chinese takeaways. And I would just simply like to ask Big John that if you are treating immigrants as one giant vat this indistinguishable slop that you will no doubt fill your trough with. How many Pakistani rape gangs is it worth having in this country for you to eat 2 Chinese takeaways a day? Because that really is the calculation that we're going through right now. How many abused children is it worth to you, John, so that you can have a curry? Because I don't think that we actually need to have both of those things together. I think we're perfectly capable of recreating foreign cuisine from scratch, from cookbooks, without importing infinite foreign criminals and benefits dependents. Unfortunately, Big John exists to try to keep the white working class on the plantation that says, if you want a takeaway, you must accept open borders.
But I don't think Big John is smart enough to understand that, which is exactly why they're trying to promote him right now. This guy, all his intellectual thought and his intellectual energy doesn't exist in the normal place. It's right here in his big fat belly. And that's not me, by the way. That's me, all right? That's me. I'm not a fat twat.
And this is why he has earned the name, and I haven't used this myself because I think it's a slight bit crass, House Gammon.
House Gammon? Did you just... What the fuck did that... Did you just say House Gammon?
Has earned the name, and I haven't used this myself because I think it's a slight bit crass, House Gammon.
I don't know what a house gammon means. I know what gammon means, but what's a house gammon? It's like a house cat? Like a captured cat? A captured person that is a gammon? A traitor gammon? That's probably better. A traitor gammon. But even then, like, I don't agree with that phrase. I think that's inherently racist. I don't think we should be promoting that phrase to anyone. It's obviously a racial slur against the English, which is accepted by mainstream media for some reason because, well, you can't be racist against white people, can you? Everyone, accept that first.
He's basically Gammonzilla with a leash, brought to heel by the regime that has betrayed and been intent on replacing us for a very long time. And the reason I'm taking shots at Big John, I wouldn't care if he was just, you know, some sort of TikToker or Instagram influencer, if he was just posting pointless tweets. But
look at him, the fucking disgusting bastard. What is he doing on the BBC? What is he doing? Like, oh, come on, guys, this guy's not smart. He's not representing us. There's loads of people right now that claim to represent us, but they don't. They're off in the fucking Middle East kissing a wall or something. I'm tired of this.
He has been platformed by the BBC and LBC, presumably paid appearance fees to come on and sit in front of the camera and act like the paragon of working class patriotism. And all that amounts to is calling you a racist if you don't like mass migration.
I love my country. I'm a proud Englishman.
Doubt.
And when you see the flags going up, I can see why people are doing it, because a lot
He gets hungry, he wants to eat them, right?
of institutions around the country won't put up the flags. So people are sort of taking it amongst themselves. And it's normal people that are doing it. But every now and again, it blows over. You get the isolated incident, which isn't good, it is upsetting.
Note there what Big John is saying. What Big John's saying is, I understand your concerns. I like the flag as well. I wave it whenever the football's on. But if you wave it in an unapproved way, unapproved by the regime that has imported limitless foreign nationals at our expense and against our wishes, who call literally everything racist, including you expressing even the mildest preference for your people, history, heritage, culture, and country.
Country, right? You got that. You got the end of the word. I didn't cut it off perfectly. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I'm trying, right? I'm trying to do better. But it reminds me of this other guy that's currently flying off somewhere that says, you know, yeah, I love the English. I love the English flag and all this stuff, but just don't fly it unless it's outside of a football match. And also, what did he say? He said something like, Britishness. What is that? Well, it's not white. It's not white. It's almost like these people have been captured by a foreign ideology that have gaslighted them into being so afraid of saying something negative and being called a racist that they're willing to go on camera and within 2 minutes of the fucking video start crying about how someone called them a racist. People who watch this channel will know exactly who I'm talking about.
Then, oh, you can't be doing that now, because if you're racist, I can't have my curry. This is how, one, pathetic immigration discourse has gotten in this country, two, how patronising the mainstream media are towards the working class, and three, how utterly just repugnant this person is. I mean, look at him. Not just that he's grotesquely overweight in a time of economic stagnation,
Yeah.
climate where the likes...
He's struggling for words there. I'll call him a dirty fat fuck. Okay? He's a dirty fat fuck. But also, he's not going to live very long. That's the thing with dirty fat fucks. They quickly die off. I probably can't say that on YouTube. By the way, YouTube, I don't mean that. I don't want him to die or anything like this. I don't wish him ill will. I'm just saying, as a morbidly obese person with contrary views, he's probably not going to last very long in this world.
The BBC constantly bang on about how people need to turn to food banks to survive, and then they have this guy who...
YouTube cannot understand sarcasm, by the way, or anything to do with humour, and I probably would say that about most YouTube employees. I skipped the video. Holy shit, let me find it again. Sorry, guys. Oh my god, I tried to press play. I tried it. Oh no, I skipped most of it. Oh no! Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's my fault. I'm an idiot. I'm worse than Fat John. I'm wasting your time.
And when you see...
No, it's before
But
that.
he has been platformed by the BBC and LB.
After that?
Note there being in a time of economic stagnation. But his inability to control his own vices, being food addiction, is a proxy for his own cowardice, his own lack of virtue. Because later on, we'll see how he says he's going to fight for his country.
Is he going to fight obesity?
He can't even run a lap of a playground. So, excuse me if I don't take this obvious pantomime, this mukbang minstrel show, very seriously.
See a picture of a Chinese takeaway in York saying, "Go home."
Yeah, I saw that online. And I
He
think
saw that online. I saw that online, mate. I saw it online, and I was mortified. That made me go around the country and just stuff my face until I burst. And then come on BBC Newsnight and be questioned by fucking quizzlings about how much I hate this country and how racist all the people that want to fly the flag are. Thanks, big fat John.
running it for 15 years. She's lived here, she's worked hard. And I'm associated with Chinese takeaways. But I would have felt the same whether it had been an Indian, Caribbean, Mexican, Greek,
Fish and chip shop? No. I swear to God, these people, they're so bankrupt intellectually. They can't form a sentence. The only thing they can do is slur out of their fat mouths the other things that people have told them to say. It's ridiculous. I feel ashamed, honestly, guys. I genuinely do feel ashamed sometimes that I'm English and that I have to be represented by these slobs. This goes out internationally. People watching my country. Like, I watch 9gag. Well, I used to, actually, before it became shit. But I used to, like, look at 9gag. And everyone would rip the piss out of the English for being absolute losers that are voting for their demise. And I'm trying to explain to them, no, we didn't vote for this. Like, this isn't us. And then we have these guys coming on TV saying exactly what they're saying about us. And it fills me with shame.
Turkish, you know, people that are
Oh,
working here.
God damn, the graphics card's kicking off again.
An Indian, Caribbean, Mexican, Greek, Turkish, you know, people that are working here shouldn't be targeted like that. No one should be targeted like that.
Like what?
So, it does not matter whether or not someone has been here for a substantial amount of time or just arrived yesterday. If they are living in sectarian enclaves, if they are...
Someone said to me the other day, and I'm sorry to like cut Connor off again. Imagine I was like doing a live stream or something and he was asking questions. It wouldn't be very good. I would be more refrained, I promise, guys. But it's like, I forgot my point. Oh my God. Let me go back.
It does not matter.
Takeaways. But I would have felt the same whether it had been an Indian, Caribbean, Mexican, Greek, Turkish, you know, people that are working here shouldn't be targeted like that. No one should be targeted like that.
So,
Yeah, I've forgot my point again. Sorry, guys. This is live. I'm doing this in one take. You have to agree with this. I'm usually on point. Today, just getting over illness, a little bit lethargic in my mind, not doing too well still, but getting better, getting better. I'm almost there. Look, I've got a smile on my face. I'm doing all right. Hopefully, I've just gaslighted you into accepting that I made a massive faux pas. But sure, let's go.
It does not matter whether or not someone has been here for a substantial amount of time or just arrived yesterday. If they are living in sectarian enclaves, if they are living wholly apart from the native population, whether they are hostile or simply out of habit recreating their culture and the conditions of their home country in my country, then I'm sorry, but they aren't wanted here. Because
that's what I was going to say. He's way more calm than me. And I'll be honest, it's a matter of taste. Someone said to me the other day while I was super sick and I made a video and I literally was just like barely getting through it. That's such a nice, calm video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I came on here expected my blood pressure to raise and you calmed it down, even though you were talking about horrible things. I appreciate that. That's not me, guys. No, I was just super sick. If you like that kind of content, watch Connor Tomlinson. Watch that guy, right? Because I'm not calm. I have a blood pressure and it rises and falls dramatically with each sentence that someone says. And also, the more I get pissed off about a subject, the more I will probably react to it in a what's the word? Volcanic manner. Every time Keir Starmer comes onto the screen, for example, I struggle to not just punch the screen. For obvious reasons, like you guys do the same. I am the same as you. I am not a placid commentator.
they have not integrated in any meaningful fashion.
Damn it!
Their descendants will not assimilate to be indistinguishable from our population, and by practicing their culture they will not recreate my country, and so my country will disappear without us ever voting to be dispossessed of our own country. And I don't want anyone smashing up any businesses, I don't think we should be unduly cruel to these people, but you really can see how the media are pushing Big John so that any argument about immigration is yet again relegated to racism, because otherwise you won't have your Chinese takeaway.
No one votes to have their country taken over.
And this patronising message has been amplified yet again by LBC, and this was the clip that sparked a lot of controversy.
I think this is the clip that I made on a video a couple of nights ago. I'd never heard of this fat fuck. I'd never heard of him one time. This was just a dirty little slob that appeared on my timeline and said something weird, so I reported on it. I don't do a lot of research, guys, because I don't need to. I'm not in the business of the news. A lot of people confuse me with someone that I'm not, and confuse this channel with something that it's not. This is not a news channel. This is a channel that is supposed to make you emotionally charged. This is a channel that's supposed to change your mind. This is a channel that's supposed to show you the difference between the truth and the shit that these people are saying. That's this channel. It's not about showing you the intricate facts of everything, like Black Belt Barrister, where he goes into massive detail. No, that's not actually going to change people's minds. That's going to prove a point. It's not going to change people's minds. I'm in the business of changing people's minds, which is why this channel isn't... I would say that that's why this channel isn't growing. That might not be true, but the shadow banning, the constant strikes, the constant bullshit that happens to this channel, it feels like that's true. I think I'm convincing. I think I'm very able to change someone's opinion, to show someone the truth, to make them wake up. And you can't do that with a placid, calm, very level voice talking about facts. The same thing the politicians have been doing for a long time. The weasel politicians have been doing. I'm not calling Connor. I know his name. I don't know why I keep looking down like that. I know his name. I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm just saying that's the environment he's been brought up in. He's still got that level of respect for the establishment, which is why he's trying to copy them. I don't give a fuck. Fuck these guys. Fuck all of them. They're traitors. They've wrecked this country. I'm not going to play by their games. I'm going to charge you emotionally and bring you up to the point where you feel like something needs to be done. It's probably why, you know.
Over the last week, because Big John says that he's going to fight for his country and reclaim what the flag truly means.
I've always said that I'm as patriotic as anyone in this country.
He said that twice now. Tommy Robinson, I'm not allowed to mention that name. The guy in Israel kissing the wall right now, that guy, he always says the same thing as well. They all, like, there's other, I don't want to, fuck it, I've never met these people. Paul Thorpe, he says the same shit. There's other guys that I don't fucking know. They've all said the same shit. I'm as patriotic as everyone, but I'm just not going to say the truth. I'm not going to actually lay down what's happening because, you know, I've got money and stuff, families, and I don't really want to cross that line.
I would happily die for this country if it was being invaded tomorrow. There's a lot of frustration because normal sort of English, British people feel they can't fly their flag, and that's when it causes problems. We should be able to fly it, but when it crosses over into threatening and hateful behaviour, that's when it's wrong. We should reclaim our flag. The flag, no one should feel uncomfortable seeing the St George's Cross or seeing the Union Jack.
But people do feel uncomfortable because they don't feel it's their...
Which ones? Which ones, Connor? Which ones, fat guy? Which ones feeling comfortable? It might be the ones walking down our streets right now, flying Palestine flags, all masked up, saying this is our area. This is our country now. They might feel a little bit threatened, but don't worry. If they do, Keir Starmer will hold a press conference saying how they're the vilified victims of this country and therefore they need more money. They need more money for more mosques. Just saying.
their flag. That's why they've been taking them down in places like Tower Hamlets and Birmingham, John. What you're trying to do is keep those hostile people who hate our flag, hate our people, hate our country, in our country, at our expense, just so you can stuff your face. What Big John is Squealer from Animal Farm. He's a fat pig who will justify the worst possible atrocities of the...
Yes, I do know what that is. I do know what that is. I exactly know what that is. You see, I was brought up in an educational system before they wrecked it. I mean, it was halfway wrecked. But I still know what that guy is. And I also know the characters of Mice and Men. I've read books. Comic books. But still.
regime, just so he can fill his trough. And be guaranteed to be on the side of the naked use of power against the native population. He is, for all intents and purposes, a big traitor.
A quisling.
So when I wrote in response to this glutton insists that you aren't allowed to have a preference for your people, history and culture because he wants to gulp down 2 Chinese takeaways a day until his arteries resemble the Ganges, our morally bankrupt regime couldn't ask for a better avatar than this pig, who isn't fit to fight for anything but will demand you side with a government that...
I would just like to say the arteries actually constrict the more that you eat. They don't grow bigger. But sure, okay, Con.
Inflicts preventable atrocities on children just so he can fill his trough. It got a fair amount of attention. It got nearly 500,000 views, 5,000 likes, fair few hundred reposts. However, Big John...
Thank you. For everyone that's still watching at this point, I know it's difficult to keep watching these videos when I cut in all the time. And actually, it should be easy because you shouldn't be watching these videos to watch the video. You should be watching the videos to listen to me because that's the point of making this channel. The point should be you're listening to me, not watching these. This is context, right? This is the reason that I'm making these videos. It's all about context. This is the context of this. Wow, that's a face. That's a face. Anyway, the context... Shit, I forgot my point again. The context of this argument...
In views, 5,000 likes, fair few hundred reposts.
Oh yeah, the context of the view. Right. It's not about how many views you've got or anything like... Oh, wait, I totally forgot the point.
Anything, but will demand you side with a government that inflicts preventable atrocities on children just so he can fill his trough. It got a fair amount of attention. It got nearly 500,000 views, 5,000 likes, fair few hundred reposts. However, Big John decided to respond to this by saying, how does someone with a good number of followers get so little views and interactions? Is @Connor Tomlinson buying his followers? Now, if you notice here, I've taken this from a screenshot, and I had to because John deleted the tweet. And it's probably because he realises it's legally actionable, because no, I've never bought my followers. You can't just make up an unsubstantiated accusation, John. And what this shows is that Big John has been amplified beyond his ability to actually navigate in political spaces. Because I have this rule. I try not to say anything that I can't back up with a source.
I don't. I just say things. I say what I feel. And this is the difference. If you're constricted to just saying factual references which don't exist because they hide things from you, then you can't just give a perspective. And my perspective is, I'm going to say exactly what I think. And I know occasionally I will forget exactly what I was going to say, which I've done twice already on this video, which is an anomaly, by the way, guys. I never usually do that even once. The fact I've done it twice is making me think that I might need to go to the hospital and check myself for that thing. What's that thing that you can't remember stuff? What is that thing? Is that... I'm joking. All right, anyway, but you get my point, right? I don't usually do that. But yeah, sometimes you just got to tell people how you feel. And that's fine. It's not a fact, but it's what you feel. And people just want to understand your feelings. They want to connect to you. They want someone out there that is saying the same thing as them. That's important in today's world where everyone is pussyfooting around shit.
Other than if I make
damn
a
it!
joke, I'm not just going to throw out wild and frankly libelous accusations against people, because I understand that I'm operating on essentially a tightrope, because my government is acting somewhere between the Islamic Caliphate of Iran and the Soviet Union, and so will look for any excuse to incarcerate me that it can get. And so you have to be rather careful, because one, I face the threat of imprisonment if I say the wrong thing, but two, if you're engaging in public debate, your credibility is on the line if you say something obviously refutable and absurd, as John himself.
That's where I draw the line. I don't think I do that. I don't think I do that. I don't think I've ever done that. You can let me know in the comments if I've said anything irrefutably absurd. I think everything I say, although it's born from emotion and a strong emotion of, I was going to say hatred, but I mean, in essence, that is true, but it's more like it's the rejection of the political narrative. It's the rejection of their truth. It's the rejection of the elitists coming down and saying, your history is rubbish, your culture is rubbish, mass migration is your strength, Islam is the future. Nigel Farage. So there's things like that that I completely reject, and then I give my point of view why, and I infuse that with an emotion I think everyone else is feeling as well.
So I responded to John with this: 160k views at the time.
I need a new
2,000
computer
at the time. Tweeted in a time zone 8 hours ahead of Britain where most people are asleep. I was in Japan. I would be shocked at how bad at counting you are, John, but that explains your grotesque relationship with calories. Pretty rich accusation when you're being astroturfed by the BBC and LBC as the working class sales pitch for demographic replacement and the crimes and costs caused by it. Your entitlement to a curry matters much less than preventing Pakistani rape gangs. You're going on a diet and they're getting deported. And as you can see yet again, despite Big John having...
I don't really care what Thomas says with Connor says with Big John. I'll be honest. I'm going to skip this part and see if we can get somewhere else. I don't care about people's personal lives or their opinions when it comes to spitter spats on Twitter.
It's shameful. No, I said again that I had to screenshot.
Wait, don't care. Again, I just don't. I don't. Is this the point of? It might be the point of the video. I might be skipping the point of the video. I'm debating right now whether or not this is worth you guys seeing. Do you want to see this? I mean, you can just go watch his video. I think you can just go watch his... Wait, let's get to this ending part. Look at that fat head. All right, let's go. One sec.
On X.
Zia, Yusuf, set up a meeting. I'm going to come and meet you. The only politician I'm going to talk to is you.
All right, then go fuck that guy. Because he's a Muslim. And he's a Muslim that bought his way into the party. I'm sure Tom's going to... Tomma? Yeah, I'm just going to call him Tomma. I'm sure Tom's going to bank this up.
I'm going to put you right in the error of your ways. Because you need telling. All right? So set up a meeting and I'll come and meet you.
Mental how you can be famous for being fat on the internet and then demand to have a meeting with one of the most prominent faces of the party that's consistently topping the polls and likely to be the next government. Like, the entitlement is unbelievable.
Sure.
This is clearly someone who has been fed their own hype and is too stupid to understand that they're basically an industry plant. Now, the reason I'm playing this from the account The Grift Report here is because Big John deleted it. Yet again. He has a habit of doing this. He has a habit of...
I feel dumb for saying that he was supporting Zia Yusuf. I feel dumb for that. I mean, I don't know what he wanted to call him up on, but sure.
Getting into arguments and then deleting his posts when he can't handle the backlash. And apparently someone reported it to the police, basically, ironically, taking a leaf out of Zia Youssef's playbook when engaging with Rupert Lowe. Now, I think reporting it to police is cringe because it's clearly not a threat, but Big John himself isn't capable of engaging in political discourse without the support of state-funded media apparatuses or the support of LBC, funded by Global, the largest advertising conglomerate. And so what it shows, yet again, Big John, by being morbidly obese, shows that he has no self-control, no courage, no virtue.
Don't care
No
about that. I don't care about that. That's fine. We can all take that for a given. I messed up a couple of times in this video by assuming what people were going to think before I listened to them. And that should be a lesson for everyone. Listen to what people say before you rip the shit out of them. Then you'll stand on a stronger footing. And also, when it comes to the people that you put your faith in, when it comes to Big John or other people that are currently in the Middle East, listen to what they say and understand that even though they've done nice things in the past, they might have been a bastion of Britishness in the past. But if they've changed their tune and they're currently saying things that are not in your best interest, then drop them like a stone. I did the same thing with Farage, okay? I supported Farage up until the election, and then he said he wouldn't stand. Kind of worrying. And then he suddenly did stand. And then he got elected using someone else's seat, and he didn't pay them back the money. And since then, he's made a lot of promises that he wouldn't do the things that we wanted him to do, like tackling Islam and mass deportations. He's backtracked on a couple of those things minutely, but not in regards to the things that are important. And I think what Tom is trying to say is just choose your allies carefully and understand that the enemies they're not honest. They're not going to tell you that they're your enemy. They're not going to say that they're on the other side. They're going to lie to you. They're going to gaslight you. They're going to pretend that they have your values and virtues in heart, but they're not going to do the things that you think they're going to do. Be careful of the wolf in sheep's clothing. The Fabian party is everywhere. Watch out, guys. Choose your heroes and make sure they're the right ones. I've chosen Rupert Lowe for now until he does something terrible in which I can't choose him anymore. But Rupert Lowe, for now, is doing everything that I need. He set up a pressure group that is designed specifically to influence politics from the back end, completely openly and with voters that will choose those policies. That is the best thing I've seen happen to the British political system in a long time. And if you clicked off the video before now, you're not listening to this, so goodbye anyway. But if you did get this far, then I would just ask you guys, I would urge you guys, join Reform Britain. Restore Britain. Shit. Again, I'm doing this in one take, guys. And I'm not very smart. I'm a dum-dum from the north. So I've done all right. I've done all right so far. Now I'm just going to go eat a Chinese takeaway. I'll see you later.